we are going to get into the updated destinations for the best pitchers that are still available on the market. Guys like Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Marcus Stroman, Imaga. We're going to dig into, again, the best pitchers that are still available and where they could land based on some of the rumors we're hearing, based on the need that is out there for these teams that need to increase, improve, boost their rotations. So let's start off with the aces. The aces at the top. Let's go to Blake Snell. Talk that the Angels are engaged with him. The Mets have some interest. The Giants potentially have some interest. I am going to say that it's got to be the Giants. And why does it need to be the Giants? Well, let's take a look at the rotation right now. From a team that has the need, has the desire to compete in the National League West, this isn't going to get it done. Webb is great. Desclafani can't be your 2. Stripling can't be your 3. Harrison, Wynn. So we need more. Blake Snell is my pick. I believe San Francisco, the chatter is out there. The need is present. Give me Blake Snell and the San Francisco Giants as their pivot move after Yamamoto. So let's go Snell. Giants, let's keep going. And let's see how Blake Snell looks. And you can see that rotation looks a lot better. Webb, Snell in at the 2. That's a great 1-2 combo. Just got to get him some run support, and everything should be okay. Let's move on to Jordan Montgomery next. Where do we have him going? Now, the Rangers are in an interesting position with their RSN, and that is going to hamper what they can do. But they still want to compete. Max Scherzer's going to miss some time after surgery. This rotation is going to be in a tough spot. So I'm going to have Montgomery going back to the Texas Rangers. And the reason being, this rotation, Nate Eovaldi, then Gray, Heaney, Dunning, Bradford, isn't going to be enough to compete against the Astros, isn't going to be enough to compete against the Mariners rotation and everybody else in the American League. So this is almost a necessity. And after bringing Montgomery on board, they may need to make some other financial decisions, some difficult financial decisions. And I think specifically that will fall on the bat side of things, where maybe somebody needs to be dealt that, and I'm not, trust me, I'm not saying we're going to go Simeon or Seager here, but maybe target some of those arbitration guys who the dollars are starting to creep up. They may need to find a way to give themselves some relief, because we're talking $100 million with that RSN. It's an insane amount of money that they have been bringing in annually through that deal, and they look like Texas and Cleveland are the 2 teams that could really feel the effects of that in 2024. And the Rangers, I mean, it's real. The Rangers seem like they're already there. There've been talk that they're not going to add significant contracts, but they're now at a spot, especially with the Scherzer news, where they have to add, because this rotation isn't going to get it done. You reinsert Jordan Montgomery, you have Eovaldi, you have Montgomery, Gray, Heaney, and Dunning at the back of the rotation. Things start to fall together. Eventually, Scherzer comes back. You can start to put together a rotation that can compete in the West for another AL West division and make a run in the postseason. Let's get to a guy that's kind of off the radar right now, and we may not know for some time, but again, he fills out our aces. This is our third and final ace in the group, Clayton Kershaw. For the last few years, we've gone through this dance with Clayton Kershaw. Where will he circle back to? Will he be back with the Dodgers? Will he maybe go to the Rangers? Well, we just outlined why the Rangers are probably not going to be the fit. I think that Kershaw ends up back with the Dodgers. This is an easy one for me. Now, maybe he doesn't slide back into the fold until the summer, but Clayton Kershaw back to the Dodgers. Take a look at the rotation. How you slide him into this rotation is up to you. But Glasnow, Buehler, Yamamoto, Miller, Kershaw. It's a super rotation, and that's what they're trying to build, a super team. I'll also add in here as a side note, we're not going to dive into relievers and closers, but I do want to add in here as a side note, Josh Hader feels like a possible Dodgers fit. I don't see him going back to San Diego. There's more talk recently about the $200 million figure. That's gonna remove them from any Josh Hader conversation. The Rangers are in a difficult financial situation. It kind of starts to feel like it's the Dodgers. If Hader is in fact going to set the new high mark for salaries for a reliever, for a closer, it's not going to be in San Diego. It's probably not going to be in Texas. It might be with the Dodgers. So we'll sort of piggyback Hader on with Kershaw there. Let's go on to Shota Imaga. It seems like Yamamoto is either going to be a Yankee or a Dodger. And that Steve Cohen and the Mets, unfortunately, may be used to push the dollar amount up and set the dollar. Steve will set the dollar amount, but the Yankees or Dodgers will end up winning Yamamoto. So where could the Mets turn if they miss out on Yamamoto and they don't want to give a big contract out to a pitcher that is going to be in their 30s for that contract? Maybe this is where they go. I think this could be a great pivot move for the New York Mets to go after Imaga. You take a look at this rotation. You can see after Kodai Senga, it starts to get sketchy. Quintana's okay. Severino, question mark. McGill, question mark. Lucchesi shouldn't even be in there, especially if you're trying to compete in the National League East. I think Imaga would be a great fit for the New York Mets. See how he could fit in here, right in the middle of that rotation. Still a chance for them to maybe trade for a piece to further improve the situation. But give me the Mets. Let's keep going to Marcus Stroman. No longer Chicago Cub. Marcus Stroman recently has been linked to a team that I think is perfect for him. So I'm going to go out and say the Angels will be the team to land Marcus Stroman. I think Marcus Stroman wants to win, but I also think Marcus Stroman wants to get paid. I could see Marcus Stroman going to a situation where, sure, if things go well, they'll win some, but the dollar amounts are going to maybe come from a team like the Angels and not a team like the Mets or the Yankees or the Dodgers. Give me the Angels because the Angels have the glaring need as well. Detmers, Canning, Sandoval, Anderson, Silseth, there needs to be something else. Just feels like something's missing, right? Marcus Stroman could be what is missing. You add him in there, I think he would be the 2. On a championship team, Stroman's probably the 3. But for the Angels, in their attempt to put up another banner, I don't know if Stroman would be the banner. They just took down the Ohtani banner. I could see Stroman being the nice addition for the Angels here, bringing in a dependable, reliable arm. You saw how good he was with the Cubs last year. If he can do that again, it comes and goes with Marcus Stroman. But when it's good, it's really good. And the Angels could use that because this rotation, again, without a Marcus Stroman, looks rather suspect. So let's add Marcus Stroman for the Angels. Let's talk about Lucas Giolito. Interesting pitcher here. Somebody that a couple years ago looked like he had figured it out. Talked about how he had changed his mechanics, changed his delivery when he was with the Nats to the White Sox, and it all started to work with the White Sox. Threw a no-hitter with the White Sox. Everything looked good, but then it didn't. And 2023 was a very up and down year for him with the White Sox, and then after being dealt, it was pretty much down the rest of the way. But there's got to be some teams that look at Lucas Giolito as that guy that can still pitch towards, at the very least, the middle spot of a rotation. And there are still a lot of teams that have needs in that pitching department. Where do we go for Lucas Giolito? I can see the Boston Red Sox making the play here. Yes, they could go out there, the Red Sox, and make a splash for Montgomery or Snell and still maybe grab Lucas Giolito. But again, the market for those two pitchers after Yamamoto comes off the board, it's going to be aggressive. How aggressive is Craig Breslow going to be? Maybe he will be that aggressive, but I could also see this move as a sneaky addition to add a guy to the middle of the rotation, back half of the rotation, that could pitch up to maybe a 2 or a 3 if he can recapture what we've seen as his best work. Because we look at this Red Sox rotation, Chris Sale, Nick Pivetta, Brian Bayo, Cutter Crawford, Tanner Houck. Maybe Tanner Houck slides back to the bullpen, and we can work in Lucas Giolito to the number 5 spot. And if he's your 5, you're in good shape. The problem is the White Sox needed him to be the number 1. When the Angels traded for him, they needed him to be the 1 or the 2. Cleveland brought him in, again, hoping he could spark a wild and crazy September comeback. Maybe he needs some pressure taken off. Maybe slide him into the number 5 spot for a Red Sox rotation, and he can rekindle some magic. Wherever he goes, it's probably going to be on a prove it to me kind of deal. And in that situation, you may get the best out of him. How about Mike Clevinger? Maybe the forgotten man in this pitching offseason. Opted out of his deal with the Chicago White Sox, still got paid. Now he's a free agent. Put together a nice season last year. No one's going to expect him to come in and be at the top of the rotation, but he's a guy, and we keep talking about, you can slot him into that 3 or 4, and he can pitch one level above that. You slot him into the 3, he might be able to pitch up to that 2 level. You slot him into the 4, he'll pitch up to a 3 level. I really think Mike Clevinger could put something nice together here, and there's a team that is in an interesting position when it comes to pitching, and it is a AL Central team. Give me the Twins to make a run and bring in Mike Clevinger. Look at the rotation. Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan. That's a great 1-2 at the top. Bailey Ober in at number 3. I like it. But then Paddock, Varland. Maybe Varland's best in the bullpen. Paddock is a question mark. What has he got? If you give him a full season crack at the rotation, what's he going to give you? Over 30 starts? Does he give you 30 starts? That's why I like Clevinger for the Minnesota Twins. They need another starting pitcher, but they can't go out there because they have their own financial issues with sports networks. They're not going to be able to go out there and live in the Montgomery, Snell air. That's not where they're going to be. And when it comes to trades, the trade partners that we're hearing about for Kepler and Polanco, are they going to bring back a pitcher that's significant? Clevinger could be a nice addition, short-term contract, 1 or 2 years, throw in an option, get the job done, improve the rotation. Clevinger could sit in that number 3 spot, give you Lopez and Ryan at the top, Clevinger and Ober at the 3-4, and again, both of them solid middle of the rotation guys. Moves Paddock to the 5 spot. Maybe Varland takes that 5 spot away from him. Create some competition for the last spot in that rotation. I like this for the Twins. One more. So we've got the aces. We've got the best of the rest. The long shot. Trevor Bauer. Will Trevor Bauer pitch at the major league level in 2024? There's certainly the need, right? We've gone through a handful of teams and addressed some needs. Some of them still have needs, and there are other teams we haven't even gotten to. The Arizona Diamondbacks. The Baltimore Orioles could use a top of the rotation guy. Pittsburgh's adding guys. There's teams throughout the league that still need pitching. Would Trevor Bauer fit in? Could Trevor Bauer be the 5 in Arizona? A lot. The San Francisco Giants, even after we place Blake Snell on the Giants, they still need more pitching. Will Trevor Bauer pitch? With all of the need that is out there, does Trevor Bauer find a home in 2024? I believe that Trevor Bauer will pitch in the major leagues again, but I don't think he's going to pitch in the major leagues in 2024. There's just a gut feeling that I have that there are teams that are still wary of everything that he has gone through, regardless of rulings, regardless of everything that we've heard and read and consumed about his situation. If you're an organization, the last thing you want is something else to come out. Don't know if anything ever will. Maybe everything's free and clear. But the last thing you want is the potential for it. Because everyone will say, you saw it coming. How could you do this? It just seems to me that there needs to be a little bit more clearance here where nothing happens. He just goes out there and he goes back to the Bay Stars and he dominates in 2024, and then he's back in 2025 at the major league level. I don't see him back in 2024. I do see Trevor Bauer back in 2025. That's it for me, everybody. I do appreciate you again coming in, spending some time with me. Thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.